Multiplying and factoring. First thing I'm going to talk to you about is what's called the GCF, or greatest common factor. Okay, how to find it. So let's say we have 30x to the third plus 20x squared. Okay, and we need to find the GCF, and we're going to factor it out. So, a couple of rules. First of all, the only thing we divide by are 2s, 3s, 5s, 7s, and 11s. The reason we divide by these are called prime numbers. Okay, prime numbers, P-R-I-M-E. So, I'm going to take my 30 and break it down. Well, remember 2s, 3s, 5s, 7s, and 11s. So I start with 2s. 2 goes into it 15 times. 2 doesn't go into 15, so I try a 3. Well, that's 3 and 5. And actually, those are prime numbers, so that's as far as I get. So now I need to write it all the way out. So the way I write this out is 2 times 3 times 5, and then x to the third, which means I have 3 x's out here being multiplied. Okay? Now I have to do the same thing for the 20. Remember, always start with 2s. 2 and 10. 2 goes into 10, so I'm going to go 2 and 5. So now I write it down. 2 times 5 times, now it says x squared, so x and x. All right, so I have the prime factorization listed out. Once I have all of that listed out, what I have to do is circle the things they have in common. Well, they both have a 2 in common. They both have a 5 in common. And then we both have 2 x's in common. All right? So, multiply all of those things together. 2 times 5, 10. X times x, x squared. So that's what we can factor out. That's the greatest common factor of those two terms. Now, whatever's left is what's going to be on the inside. So that 3 and the x make a 3x. Now notice in our problem it was a plus, so I'm going to put a plus here. If this were a minus, I would put a minus there. The only thing left here is a 2. So I'll write down my 2. That is the factorization of this problem. And that's as simple as it goes. If you have 3 terms, okay, and they ask you to factor it, you're going to do the same exact thing, except here's what you're going to have to do. All 3 that's very important. Okay, all 3 of them have to have the number in common. So instead of just 2 terms having the number in common, all 3 of them have to have the number in common. Okay, so if you run into a problem that has 3 different things, make sure you do that. So you're going to do this for all 3 numbers. Circle what they have in common, pair them up, pull them out. What's left stays on the inside. Okay? Sorry. Now, remember also 2s, 3s, 5s, 7s, 11s. That's the only thing we divide by. That keeps everything nice and organized for you. All right? If you want one more example problem, here. Let's go over on the back real quick. So let's say that that's our problem. They want us to factor it. Okay? So again, prime factorization. 2s, 3s, 5s, 7s, 11s, I always start with 2s. So that's 2 times 3. That's as far as it goes. So I have a 2 times a 3 times an x, and then this is plus 10. Well, that's 2 and 5. So 2 times 5, and then I have 3 x's. There's a minus, and then 12, 2 and 6, and then the 6 can break down into 2 and 3. So 2 times 3, then x squared, so that means we have 2 different x's. Okay, so that's my entire list right there. Pair up what they have in common. So that one has a 2, and a 2, a 3, but no 3, so the 3 is out. That one has a 5. Nothing else has a 5. So we know we can pair up a 2. What else can we pair up? Well, that one has 1x. That one has 3 x's. That one has 2. You have to take the least. So that means we can pair up 1x. Remember, the things paired up come on the outside. So 2 times x comes on the outside. Now, what's left on the inside? The things left over. So I'm just underlining them to make it easier for me to see. The only thing out of this is a 3 that's left. Remember, that was a plus, so I'll leave a plus. A 5xx, so it makes x squared. That was a minus, so I'll leave it as a minus. 2 times 3, 6, and an x. So there you go. That's how we can tell that we've done it. Now, you can also work backwards. These are multiple choice questions. Let's say factoring is just not your thing. You struggle with it. We'll go backwards, okay? So this is actually the second part of the lesson. Take this, multiply it out. 2x times 3. 2 times 3 is 6, and then we just have an x. 2 times positive 5 is 10. X and x squared. We'll already have 2 x's. And then I throw one more on, so that makes that x cubed. 2 times negative 6, negative 12. X and x make x squared. Now you see, those two are the same thing. That's the whole point. So this is our GCF. And then if you really don't, working out a GCF is difficult for you, just multiply them out. See which one of them is going to give you the answer that we do in the first place. Okay? So, last little piece that you need to know. If we have a problem, something like that, okay? And we're asked to multiply. 7 times 2, 14. Now, you have 5 x's here and 7 x's there. That means all together we have 12 x's, so you just have to add the exponents. 7 and negative 5 make negative 35. 5 x's there, 3 x's there. We're multiplying them, so that means we're going to end up with 8 total x's. So that's how you would do a problem if you're multiplying something like that. All right, I think you're ready to go, multiplying and factoring, and go attack it and get it done.